We're really excited to be able to get back out in front of the fans tomorrow and get a chance to play against a really good team. I think it's a really good team in Miami of Ohio. Obviously, we've had about 3 days of practice since we got back. We took a couple days off just due to all the travel all the way out to Hawaii and back. But I'm excited to see the progress that we've made here tomorrow night. Miami's got a really well coached. And Jack Owens does a great job in year 2. He's building a great program up there in Oxford. They have tremendous guards. They have a kid that I'm very familiar with, a couple of those guys that are from kind of in here in the region, and Nike Sabande, who's one of the most dynamic guards that we will have seen to this point in the season. A kid named Darian Ringo, who's a really good pure point guard, and Delonte Brown, who's a tremendous wing. They got great talent. They're a very good offensive team, very, very explosive. We're really looking forward to tomorrow night and having the opportunity to play against Miami.
Coach, heard you talking in practice yesterday to your guys, and the point that you kind of made over and over again was, look, you're going to get Miami's best shot, and they need to get our best shot. So what does that look like? What does that need? What needs to kind of happen for that to transpire for you guys?
I think number one, just the intensity on the defensive end has to be there for us. We're going to be challenged. Ringo and Sabande and Brown, they're about as talented as any crew that we've seen even to this point. They all can create offense, can really score and play make. And then I think just doing it within our system though. And we got to eliminate a lot of the mistakes that we make within our system. We don't change game to game. We're the same every single day. And it starts in practice, forming those habits. Defense isn't easy. And we have a lot of new guys that are trying to figure out, and it just takes one guy to not do their assignment, and it can screw up our whole possession. And then I think for some guys it's effort. And I think that we got to get more effort on that end. But I think it starts with the defensive end, and then I think offensively, for us we have to take care of the ball. They're going to be a team that's going to pressure you, try to turn you over, pick you up full court with their point guard. Ringo's he creates a lot of havoc. He does the whole game. He tries to steal your ball. I think he's top 15 in the country in steal percentage as an individual. So we got to really take care of the ball.
Nike and Delonte account for about 45% of their points and have shown that they can hit from long range. Considering that's something you're trying to really tighten up right now, what do you hope for your team heading into this game?
I think we have to make things hard on those guys. And Nike is he's a dynamic scorer. He doesn't. He can create his own off. He can get his own shot off anytime he wants. He's very athletic. He can shoot the ball with great range. He's a tremendous off the dribble shooter. So our guys he has to see a tight floor every single time he catches a ball. And Delonte's the same way. Delonte can really shoot off the catch. He's shooting, I think, almost 48% from 3. He's 6'7". He's a matchup problem. He can drive the ball as well. For our guys, I think it's about having focus. I think that's what it is more than anything, and I think it's just staying within our system, staying focused, being there on the catch, not falling asleep off the ball, and because good teams don't do that. And again, it's early on in the year, but at the same time, though, we got to see progress if we want to be a really good team. And again, we're going to need that tomorrow night because Miami's got a really nice team.
Zach was in here before you, Coach, and he was talking about a moment that you guys had when you were out in Hawaii. I think it was before the Illinois game. There's a team meeting and some film session where there was kind of an aha moment for the team. Do you remember that meeting, what you talked about and what you wanted the team to take from that meeting?
Yeah, I think I've been around Xavier for 10 years, and I was a big fan of Xavier long before I even got here. And I think you think of Xavier teams, you think of unselfishness, on the offensive end. And I don't think we have selfish players at all, but guys are in new roles. And I think just understanding who they are, playing to our strengths, working together to get a great shot for Xavier, not just a shot for yourself. Working, be excited that you got a shot for one of your teammates, making the extra pass one, because we have a very good driving team, and that's I think we are a drive it, post it team. That's who we have as our personnel. But once we drive it and guys help, then we have to be able to make the right plays. And I think we had a really good meeting, got a lot of things aired out. And I think we saw some progress in the Illinois game. That was the best game that we had actually passed the ball. We had some turnovers, and we're not ever going to be perfect. But again, I thought overall you could see that our guys were really, really trying to do that, to share the basketball, make the right plays, land on 2 feet's a big terminology that we use in the paint because that allows you to slow down the game a little bit. But I did think we saw a lot of progress in that area.
The other place you want to see progress, sure, is the win-loss record. How much urgency is there? I know it's November, but, come March, when they start looking at resumes and you get to where you want to go, they're going to look at all these games. And 3-3 record, I'm sure, is not what you want to have. So how much urgency is there, not just to get better, but to start getting wins and see this team start to progress in that way?
Yeah, I think absolutely. We always want to win. And you're always playing to win. You're always competing. But obviously, I think if we continue just to get better, I think we'll end up where we want to be at the end of the year. But again, I mean, we haven't lost to anybody bad. You look at Wisconsin. Wisconsin to me is a top 10 team in the country. I think they're phenomenal, and I think Auburn's obviously a top 10 team in the country. San Diego State will be a tournament team. I think they got a really nice team. But again, it's not even necessarily about our opponents. It's about us, and it's about our standard. It's about us getting better within our offensive and defensive system. Just continuing to see that progress, and I think if we stay committed to that, I think we'll get the results that we want.
Is the game starting to slow down at all for Dontarius?
It is. I think, as a freshman, sometimes, though, Shannon, you keep on adding more and more and more, to your system offensively and defensively. And the train never really stops. And we're not going to necessarily stop for one guy. And Don is picking things up. He's doing, I think he's a visual learner. He has to see it a lot and watch him practice film, and I think that's helping him. But he is getting better, but he's got to continue to grow, and he will. It'll click for him at some point here.
So this week, the selection committee rolled out its first net metric. I think Xavier came in at 101. Small sample size here, but what are your impressions of this new replacement for the RPI?
I mean, I think it's really similar to the RPI, and I just think right now it's hard to I think it's kind of meaningless to me right now, to be honest. Now, again, later on, in about a month or a month and a half, and there's a bigger sample size, then I think you'll see that it'll be a little bit more maybe accurate, maybe the word to use, because right now it's just such a small sample size of what's gone on in college basketball to this point.
Do you like that it emphasizes neutral games and wins in road games?
Yeah, I do. I think that's important. Again, I think, but the RPI did the same thing, and I think that's where I think it's really similar. And again, but early on in the year, I wouldn't. I think as a lot of people do, they probably overreact to it. Again, I think it's early. You got to see a bigger sample size of it.
Obviously, we're going to be looking for consistency here, but does it feel a little bit different going into games now, knowing that you got guys like Ryan Wellage and Elias Harden and Keontae Kennedy who can kind of come in and knock down big shots for you off the bench, whereas at the beginning of the year, those were kind of question marks, and now they're kind of filling in nicely, I feel like.
Yeah, they're starting to figure out themselves and to figure out their role in this team. They're playing with a lot more confidence. I think their teammates have a lot of confidence in them as well to come in and do that. But those guys know, I'm only going to play them if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing defensively. And again, I think offensively, yeah, they can shoot the ball, they can make shots, and they did that out in Hawaii, and I think they've been pretty consistent lately doing that. But we need that continue to move forward. Obviously, we need a scoring punch off our bench, but more importantly, we need guys that can defend and rebound.